What's up, ballers? Welcome back to the NxtUp Ballers podcast, where we spotlight leaders who aren't just doing the work, they're redesigning how the work even gets done. Today's guest sits at the intersection of strategy and service. Rachel Crowder is the CEO of Raette Consulting, where she leads strategic initiatives that help organizations grow stronger, move smarter, and create sustainable impact. Ray is also the founder of Black Health Lit, a platform dedicated to empowering communities with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate and advocate within the healthcare system. So whether she's working in boardrooms or in communities, Rachel is focused on one thing: making systems clearer, stronger, and more accessible to the people they're meant to serve. Well, hey, Ray.
What's up?
How are you?
I am amazing.
Good.
How are you?
I'm really good. I'm excited to have you on the show today.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for saying yes. It's always a pleasure when I get to actually have people that I know on the show, not only because I want you to hype yourself up, but also because people deserve to know all about what you do. And I'm excited to let the people know. You ready to get into it?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, perfect. So we've already heard the intro of all the amazing things that you do, but let's just go a little deeper into all of it. But before we do that, I always like to start our guests with a very similar question, and that is, before consulting, before Black Health Lit, before strategy, before systems, before all of it, tell the listeners just a little bit about your journey that led you here in the first place.
Ooh, so professionally, my journey has been working in healthcare for the past 15 years. So after college, I went to work in insurance, and then I went to the broker world, and then I went to the health system, and then I started consulting for Raette Consulting and doing community engagement for wellness for Black Health Lit.
Yeah. Well, then take us a little further back then. What even got you into the healthcare system? What was little Ray, tinkering with the Barbie dolls and just being like, I want to be in healthcare or a nurse, or what sparked this journey?
So my first exposure was my mother, who's a registered nurse. And my grandmother would pick us up from school, or my godfather would pick us up from school. And of course, nurses are always at work. So we would go up to the nursing home. No. Yes. Nursing and healthcare never stop. Yes. It is a 24/7, 365.
Yes.
So I would go up to my mother's job as a kid, and I was always intrigued by what I thought were toys. So her medical supplies. So the funny little scissors with the little bend and the clear tape and the bandages. And so that's really when I started getting interested in medicine. And then as I got older and started to learn about heart risk and health risk and things like that, I became even more intrigued when my grandmother told a little bit of our health history for our family.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Was there something within your family or someone close to you that, really continue the decision to get into healthcare? Because a lot of times it's someone close to us that is experiencing some type of health issue that's like, I want to be a part of the solution, or I want to know more. And then as you decide to learn more, you just kind of get deeper into the weeds, and it solidifies, what you want to do. Is that accurate?
It is. So my grandmother's father died of a massive heart attack. She was 13, and my great-grandmother, Rachel, who I'm named after, had beautiful. 4 daughters.
Okay.
And so he went to work and never came home. And as a kid, I was like, well, what's a heart attack? How does that happen?
Yeah.
How do I make sure that doesn't happen to me?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that. So why healthcare journey and not nurse, doctor? Why was that not the path that you chose?
That's a funny question. So when I first went to undergrad, I was a chemistry pre-med major.
Okay.
And then physics kicked my butt.
I hear that takes a lot of people that out.
Physics kicked my butt twice. But then also somewhere between, I want to say sophomore and junior year, I did an internship at a hospital, and I was grossed out by the germs.
Oh, okay. Not the blood, not the bodily fluids, just like, this place is disgusting.
Yes. And I worked in the purchasing department, so I was responsible for ordering things like catheters, Band-Aids, and working with the pharmaceutical representatives and surge techs. And I was like, I don't want to come into the hospital every single day. This is not for me.
Okay. Had you always been a germaphobe?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
You were just like, the instant exposure of germs was like, actually, germs are gross. They
exist. Yeah. And, I had to figure out a way to be close to it, but not in it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so so you decided not like, I don't want to be in the hospital every day. I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to be a doctor. So when did your path like really start to go down public health? Was there a moment when you realized like, this is bigger than individual health? This is systematic. What was that deviation from the standard thought process of going into healthcare? Why the system part of it all?
Why the public health piece too? So, funny story.
Okay.
It really wasn't my choice. Life blew me that direction.
And it will do that.
Yes. So when I graduated college in 2009, the economy was horrible and I couldn't get a job with my bachelor's. And during that period of time is when the bachelor's became not enough. And it was everybody needs a master's degree. We've seen that pendulum switch again, but at that time it was everybody needs a master's degree and I couldn't find a job. So I said, well, I guess I'm going back to school. And whose deadline hasn't passed? Like, honestly. And Bowling Green and Toledo had a combined consortium program, and it was a master in public health. And I said, well, I guess that's where I'm going. And it was 6 weeks front to back from application, finding an apartment, and ending up there studying my public health administration.
Wow. What was your bachelor's in?
Health Services Administration.
Okay. And then master's just kind of continued that.
Yeah.
All right. So when you were at Bowling Green, did it feel aligned at that point? Like, sometimes we will be thrust into a situation that we did not plan, but once we're in it, we're like, oh, this was exactly where I was supposed to be all along.
No.
Not
at all. I was in survival mode.
Okay.
Yeah, I had 2 jobs. I was in an accelerated master's program, and I was studying for the LSAT. Nothing about that felt great. I was young, though, so I was tenacious and audacious and all of the things. But at that time, no, it did not feel aligned. It felt like I was doing what I just had to do.
Okay. So when did it click?
Probably in the past 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like me doing the math, like 10 years,
I've been in 15. I would say
carry the 1 minus 12. Yeah, no, okay.
In the past 10 years, like probably once I started working in the brokerage world and seeing the economy of healthcare and how everything really can come down to the finances of it, not necessarily the people of it.
The money.
Yes. And that's when I was like, oh, somebody has to care about the people. Yeah. And there are people who do.
Right.
But at the end of the day, healthcare is a business.
Yes, it is. Yeah, no, that's good. So that actually is a perfect segue to my next question, which is, we all interact with healthcare. Like, we need it just in order to sustain us, our well-being, our body, make sure all the things are running properly. And then we saw the switch to where even on your taxes, they require you to have healthcare, right? So like now we are, especially here in America specifically, we're required to have healthcare. So we all have to interact with it. But a lot of people don't understand healthcare, period. Right? Like, so when did you first see the gap between like access and understanding? And can you provide us with an understanding of healthcare, right? Yeah. Because again, it's something we all have. We have to know we know that we have to have it. We know it's all about the money. But there is a gap between like, I have to have it, having access to it, and I actually don't know how all of this works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I first started understanding what healthcare was and why it was important, obviously in college, but then in real life experience when my mother was working at the public health department.
Okay.
And people would come in and she would tell stories, of course, obviously, considering HIPAA never shared names or specific details, but some of the stories lend themselves to people don't know.
Yeah.
People go to the doctor's office. The doctor can say, you have these conditions. Here's the medications and or surgeries that we're going to do. And people say, okay. They show up to the pharmacy, get medications, or show up for surgery and have no idea what is about to happen. And so I saw that and I heard that over and over. So that's when I learned most of us, people don't understand healthcare.
Right.
So for the second part of your question, healthcare is I think of healthcare as like water and food. We need it to survive. We need to be able to access healthcare, and that means it needs to be convenient. It needs to be culturally competent. Your doctors need to be able to see you as a human being.
Yeah.
It's not just a building on the corner that you go to when you're sick. It needs to be so much more than that.
What do you think that people don't understand about it though?
The importance.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think a lot of life perpetuates that. So if you and I are sitting here and we feel fine, right? It's like, I'm fine. I don't need to go to the doctor. And a lot of us believe that healthcare is not needed until it's an emergent situation. And that's the biggest thing I think that people don't understand is prevention is key. Early detection is key. So going for screenings, annual, male and female, children and adults, all need to be going to the doctor.
Yeah. Do you feel as though people don't understand like the healthcare portion, or they don't necessarily understand the like insurance whole world of it all?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Because one of the things I used to do when I was working at the health system was work on what's called customer journey mapping. And it's really mapping out from the minute that patient hits the door, what is their experience?
Yeah.
What happens? So you have your receptionist. First things first, how are you paying for this?
Yeah.
Before
you get
they
seen.
even ask, what are your symptoms? Are you half dead? Have you been shot? Are you having a heart attack?
Yeah.
How are you paying for this?
Yeah.
And I think that turns people off a lot. And so people don't understand the health insurance piece. There's a lot of jargon. There's a lot of words, deductibles, copays, out-of-pocket max. And that's before you even can say, oh, is this hospital or doctor even in network?
Yeah.
Can I go here for free or am I going to receive a bill?
Yep.
Yeah. So then you get into the actual healthcare piece of interacting with the doctors and the nurses who went to school forever. And sometimes they struggle to come down to our level and talk to us at a 6th or 7th grade reading level because they have all this knowledge, all this information in their heads.
Yeah. No, that's really good because even as I sit here, I have to reflect on the question that I originally asked you is I think a lot of people use healthcare and insurance interchangeably, right?
Yes.
And even my question was saying like we have to have healthcare in order to, no, we have to have insurance, like not healthcare, right?
Absolutely.
So I think even in my own speaking, it's like, oh no, wait, they are not the same, right?
They are not.
They are not the same, but we are conditioned to think that they are because of the questions that were asked.
Yeah.
Immediately when we come into any form of healthcare, dental, our normal physician, anything like that is the first question. So I think that is also a deterrent from, yes, the important. I think deep down people know that they need a healthy body, right? Yeah. Like I think that is, that is something that a lot of people know and realize, but it's always the insurance piece that really turns people away from even accessing the healthcare that they need.
Yeah.
Ooh, child. That's so good.
That's a big piece.
I know. Okay, so all of this is interchangeable between Black Health Lit, Raette Consulting. It's all dealing with like systems. It's all dealing with, ensuring that people have the information and the knowledge that they need to be successful, whether that is in business, whether that is with their own personal healthcare journey, things of that sort. So we're going to be weaving in between both. So I don't want anyone to think that we're taking a hard left. I promise everything will come together. But I do want to touch on Raette Consulting. So You lead it. But what did your journey look like before becoming CEO, right? So you graduated, got into the healthcare system. Was there anything in those earlier roles when you graduated from Bowling Green that started to help you understand systems in a way that crafted the desire or created the desire for you to be the CEO or start Raette Consulting?
Yeah. So my experience in the broker world is where I got
that broker world broke you. Okay, it taught you so much.
It did.
It broke a lot in you.
Oh yes, I learned so much. So I went to the broker world by accident.
Okay.
So much.
A lot of your life was by accident.
Yes. So you have to be fluid, and you know, when life creates a path for you, sometimes we dictate it, but sometimes we have to not be resistant and go with it.
For sure.
And this was one of those situations. So when I was in the broker world and I worked really closely with a lot of CEOs and executives in health insurance, and that's when I really got my understanding. This is the economy of healthcare. This is how it really works outside of the clinical side. And so that gave me my foundation in understanding how to strategically run health care systems, health insurance organizations. And there was a lot of autonomy in that role for me.
Okay.
So it wasn't task oriented.
Okay.
Check this box, screen this patient, scanner. It was not like that. And so that's where I learned, you know, there's opportunity for strategic planning in healthcare. That really is a thing. If there's no strategy, then the system fails.
Yep.
Right? And so that's where I got my exposure, and that's where I got my understanding.
Okay, so how did that turn into Raette Consulting?
Yeah, so then let me remember. I have to pull up my resume in my head. I'm like, where was I? So after that, I ended up going to a large health system here in Central Ohio, and I ended up in the strategy division.
Okay.
Which opened my eyes to the strategic planning side for the health system, the clinical side. So now on one hand, I have the insurance side. This is what strategy looks like here. And then on this side, I have this is what it looks like for the health system. Those two need to marry each other in order for the health system to work the way that it should.
Supposed to. Right?
And they have not been married yet. They're like in a bad relationship. It's toxic. You know what I mean? They're not married yet. And so when I was at the health system, I did a lot of strategy work, focused on patients, focused on internal, focused on community engagement, a lot of different things. And then the health system, I worked there during COVID, which was really, really tough. I would have 14 meetings a day sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
COVID happened, and health systems didn't just pop out and have a solution. Strategists were behind that. Behind the nurses and doctors were strategists. And anyway, so there was a lot of money pumped out to hospitals from the federal government, just like all the checks and all the economic stimulation. And then that money stopped. So health systems started rolling out financial sustainability initiatives. And in part of that, the most expensive thing that any organization has is their humans.
Right.
Their human resources.
Right.
And so they laid off about 300 or 400 people, and my number was called.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that was my journey
Just
into...
being thrust again.
Yes, thrust again. I did not take a leap of faith.
You said I was pushed.
I was pushed, and then I said, well, I'm out here. Start swimming.
Which is a testament in of itself, because a lot of people stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't think... They think either I'm going to stop here or let me go find another job. But this pushed you to start your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, well, I have all these skills. I have the information. I have the connections.
And what year was this?
This was 2023.
Okay. Okay. So 3 years ago.
3 years.
3 years this year.
Yeah, it was like mid-March.
Okay, you just celebrated 3 years.
Yeah,
okay.
I actually forgot that it was until you just asked.
The people are congratulating you. Let's congratulate Ray.
Hey, I'll take it. That's the thing about entrepreneurship.
I know, you just go.
You forget milestones sometimes. You're just getting to the next day.
Well, let us also put a pin in that and say, make sure you celebrate yourselves, people. I don't know where my camera is, but celebrate yourselves. Ensure that if you are putting in the hard work, that you take a moment to celebrate yourself. Well, we are celebrating you today.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about building Raette. Through the consulting, you help organizations strengthen strategy and impact. What's one common issue you see across organizations, regardless of the industry?
Misalignment of their teams.
Okay.
It's the people. With everything.
Always the people.
It's the people. Mm-hmm. You know, you may have senior leadership that has an idea of how things should happen. Then you have middle management.
Right.
And then you have your frontline individual contributors. And rarely are they aligned? Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing. So that's where the strategic planning retreats come in that we offer at Raette Consulting, is really aligning teams. It's not really the technical stuff that trips people up. Mm-hmm. It's how do we get strategy to ladder up and down.
Okay. So ensuring that the team's aligned in order for the system to work, or are you also helping them create systems? Because sometimes, you know, we've been a part of the organization where it's just like, the people are great, but this don't even make sense.
Yep. Make it make sense. Both. Okay. It's both. Existing systems can be broken. Yeah. I'm working with a client right now. They have wonderful workflows and systems in place, but there's a lot of opportunity to create better efficiencies.
Okay. Yeah.
Versus it could be another client who has no systems, or they need a new program or initiative developed, and we start from the ground up.
Mm-hmm. Now, in order to help, you mentioned that, you know, when your number was called and you were let go, but you felt confident enough to start your own business. What part of your earlier career did you gain that knowledge of, you know, in order to be able to help other organizations? Like, where would you say that, like, I realized that it was the systems, or I realized it was the people, or you know what I'm saying? Like, where did you just kind of gather that knowledge?
Ooh, so many places.
Okay.
So many places. I feel like my health system IQ is pretty high.
Okay.
When you go for your master's and it's in something that's not business administration, the business piece is in the passenger seat.
Yeah, it's just kind of like,
they don't really teach you this is how you run a business.
Yeah.
And so I learned that from a lot of the accelerators that I've done in Columbus and talking with other business owners, honestly.
Okay. And then you were just able to marry the two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. So on the other side, there's Black Health Lit.
Yep.
And you're focused on empowering people directly. So you have, like, you're doing the systems approach, you're working with business owners with Raette Consulting, but Black Health Lit is more on the personal level of, like, how can I impact the individual instead of the organization? Why was it important for you to not just fix the systems and the organizations, but also equip individuals to navigate the systems as a whole, but then, like, navigate themselves within the system?
Ooh, yes. So I talk to a lot of people. Family, friends, they know I work in healthcare, and people, I don't know why, but people feel comfortable telling me everything in their medical chart. And a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, people are really misinformed. Particularly Black people are misinformed because of the mistrust, justifiably so. I always like to throw that in front of that. Justifiable mistrust from historical and present mistreatment within the system. And so a lot of stories that I hear and have heard are concerning. And it's like, oh, wow. Everybody didn't grow up going to the nursing home and the health department and playing with the funny scissors, with the bend and the clear tape and bandages. And it's small things like understanding that fruit cocktail is not fresh fruit, or, you know, what is a deductible versus a copay.
Yeah.
I would talk to someone recently and I was like, you need to go to the doctor. Do you have insurance? And they said, I think so. They have a good job. So just talking to so many people and seeing the gap in the health system of focusing in on Black people beyond a flyer with some Black faces on it.
Yeah.
Really speaking to Black people to empower them and say, this is how you can understand your healthcare and the health system I find that very important.
Yeah, so because sometimes it takes that personal touch, right? We think about a lot of things that we should be doing, but until someone close to us tells us, like, hey, you should do that, or hey, have you tried this, or hey, did you think about this? Where we could have heard it a million times from a million other places, like, yeah, I signed on the dotted line for my healthcare, of course.
Absolutely.
But until, someone has these very real conversations with me, I'm probably not paying attention, or I've ignored it to a certain degree. So I think that's good. You said, like, just so happen people. No, this is your calling, right? So it's not a people so happen to talk to you. No, like, because this is the lane that you're supposed to be in. People find you as a trustworthy source to be able to have that confidence. To be able to tell you what's going on and just be vulnerable, and you have the resources to be able to help them, which is beautiful. So you, with Raette and with Black Health, you vacillate between institutions and communities all the time.
Yes,
like you're
every
always
day.
like you are probably 1 minute you're sending an email for one, another time you're having a conversation about another, right?
Absolutely.
But what have you learned from being in both rooms?
Ooh, one is hard to be in both rooms.
Okay.
It's hard for when I'm showing up as the CEO of Raette Consulting in a certain space and people, they want Black Health lit. I get that a lot.
Okay.
And it's like, no, today this is corporate Connie.
Okay.
I'm in my corporate Connie bag on this day. And then sometimes when I show up in Black Health Lit, some people want Raette Consulting. They want a solution to a system problem or a programmatic problem. And so what that's taught me is I have to be really intentional about which spaces I show up in, how I show up in those spaces, and making sure to just reiterate my messaging with people so that they understand what it is that I do, where I do it, and when I do it.
Okay. No, that's really good. And from a leadership and entrepreneur perspective, like, that is setting boundaries. It is always something that we are making sure that we are telling everyone who's listening and watching, like, if that is a position you find yourself in, there's a time and place for everything.
Absolutely.
The other side of that is, like, what have you noticed similar or any type of contrast in both spaces? Like, is there a disconnect, in between the institutions and the actual communities? Is there a disconnect? Is there marrying happening? Like, what's kind of happening with the actual people?
Ooh, so on the Black Health Lit side, the people want it more than ever, right? Especially in this political environment. A lot of Black DEI, anything that supports the well-being of all people is being threatened right now, particularly for Black people. And so people want it more. They really do. With Raette Consulting, I don't know if I have as many issues.
Okay.
In 2020, when I started Black Health Lit, there was a lot of system and corporate interest that has dissolved. That has completely evaporated. Yeah. So the hashtagging that happened, the declarations of racism being a public health crisis, those types of things, it's like that never happened. Yeah.
So how do you combat that? Like, how are you helping organizations through that?
So, on the organizational side, Black Health Lit doesn't really interface with organizations in that way too much anymore. It's more a love letter to the Black community.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I pivoted once again.
It's the power of the pivot. Like, you have to be, not only because of the climate, but to keep your sanity. Like, if you are rigid in areas within your entrepreneur, yes, there are spaces you are supposed to be rigid. Like, this is my brand. I'm not going to stray from that. But then also within that, you have to be fluid in order to be successful, in order to ensure that you are accomplishing the mission, ensure that you are still on track for the vision, right? All of these things. So,
and then something else I'll add to that, because you said stay on track with the vision. The vision can be repackaged as well. So I still do a lot of health equity work within the system. I sit on a few boards that are healthcare entities. So when I'm in those rooms, I'm bringing up equity.
Yeah.
When I hear things that are not equitable, I'm saying something.
Right.
So I'm in the room still.
Right.
I'm just not in the room every time as Black Health Lit.
Yep. I mean, but then too, like, you are it. Right? So sometimes like I don't need to walk in the room and say, hey, I'm a Black female. Like I show up as I don't have to say that every room I'm in because it's just embedded in me and it's just who I am. So that makes perfect sense. Okay, so as founder, managing both consulting firm and community organization, how do you decide where to focus your energy? Because as you said, like it could change any moment. How do you decide like how to focus the energy for that day or that moment or that season? Like what does that look like for you?
It's a weekly recalibration, honestly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I used to do in the fall, early winter, a strategic plan. Okay. Right? This big grand document with metrics and KPIs and the whole thing, right? Very corporate. I'm not doing that anymore. Okay. Now I have a weekly schedule in Canva, and when something feels misaligned for that month, I change it. Okay. So, and that's getting into like the granular on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. What do I focus on? What days do I do in-person meetings versus virtual meetings? So it's a constant recalibration. How much time do I spend on Black Health Lit versus Raette Consulting? Which way are my clients pulling me? So I'm constantly recalibrating. And then I have a formal recalibration at the end of each quarter.
Okay. Yeah. And what does that look like?
Sitting down, first of all, where'd the money come from? What's my money maker? Okay. Which clients are paying and what are people wanting? What's in my pipeline for potential clients and then setting myself up for success.
Yeah. And I'll add this just because I knew you. I think it was last season. Towards the end of last season, you were like, I took all Fridays off from now until the end of the year.
I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And I canceled the last happy hour hike. I was like, I have to walk the talk.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, talk about that before we like ask the last question and then just kind of start ending it here. So with Black Health Lit, you have the happy hour hikes as at the time of this recording. There is one this evening.
Yes, there is.
But talk about that so that, it's not just Black Health Lit isn't just going up into spaces and teaching and passing out information. You actually walk the walk.
I do.
Talk about that.
I do. So last summer, I picked up roller skating, or last summer, fall-ish. You know my timeline because I'm in the wind. Anyway, so a lot was being taken out of me, or I was putting a lot out physically, first of all, to be roller skating multiple times a week and hiking and lifting weights is a lot, right? And so I had to slow down on that. So that was one thing. The second thing was I had a team now who was depending on me because I expanded my team to 3 people, and I had to be there for them, whether I was sick, tired, didn't want to, stayed up late the night before. So now I was showing up.
You had a team with Raette.
Yes, I have a team at Raette Consulting. And so that's different. When it's just me, I can sleep till noon, get up and work till 8 that night. But when you have a team and your team meeting is at 11 o'clock every Tuesday and Thursday, you better be ready to lead. Yeah. And so I got to a point last fall where I was irritable, I was tired, I was parched, I was hungry all the time. There were a lot of symptoms that were like, you're exhausted. Yeah. You need to sit down. And I would be the first person to make a social media post. Take care of yourself. Get your rest. Prioritize self-care. And then if I don't do that, then that would make me kind of full of it, right? Yeah. So I had to stop myself and put myself in the shoes of the people that I try to support and say, what would I tell somebody who was in my position? And I would say, you need to sit down. Yeah. Cancel something, scrape it off your plate, and take a nap.
Yeah. Tell the people about Black Health Lit.
Yeah. So Black Health Lit.
I'm sorry. Happy Hour Hikes.
Happy Hour Hike. So Happy Hour Hike is an initiative that I started by accident again. My first year in entrepreneurship, I have a lot of acquaintances and friends and people that I connect with, and I'm very blessed. I'm so blessed that I have so many incredible women, including yourself, that are around. And let's go to happy hour. Let's go to yoga at the museum. Let's do this. And it got to a point where I was like, if I connected with people the people that I love, the way that I want to, I would be at happy hour or yoga or somewhere every single day. I would be broke, first of all. Okay. And tired.
And fat. Because I feel like I would be eating all the things, drinking all the things.
And so one day I was like, you know what? I don't want to neglect my friendships. I want to continue to nurture those. So I shot a text off and I said, hey, I know we've been meaning to get together for happy hour. Let's do happy hour on the trail. I need a workout and I would love to see your faces.
Yeah.
I didn't think anybody would come. And like 5 or 6 of my girlfriends came. And then one of my good friends, Monisa, actually, who's also a consultant, she said, so when's the next one? I looked at her. I said, girl, you crazy. I said, what do you mean? I said, this was a one-time thing. And she said, no. She said, when's the next one? And I went home and I said, well, okay, I guess I'll do another one. And then more people came and then I did another one and another one. So again, it was an accident. Yeah. That's how the happy hour hike came along. And then I started to formalize it and put some strategy around it, requesting sponsorships and things like that. And it just naturally and organically grew.
Took off. It's such a great time, such a beautiful opportunity for not only to physically, cater to your body, but also like mentally, emotionally, and socially cater to your body. It is a beautiful time. So, thank you for continuing that.
Absolutely.
And before I ask the last legacy question, would you like to share with the people why Black Health Lit is, so personal to you?
Yeah. It's personal for, there's 100 reasons. It's personal to me, one, because of my family medical history, right? Heart disease runs on my mom's side. It runs on my dad's side. Both have faced some challenges. Grandmother, great-grandmother, great-greats, aunts, uncles, cousins are facing health challenges. And I believe that literacy is the ticket for individuals to take control of their health.
Yeah.
We're going to run into walls when trying to change the system.
1000%.
But if we can change ourselves or better prepare ourselves, I think that we can have better health. So that's one reason it's very important to be my family and friends. And then personally, again, I'm very blessed. I know the system in, out, upside down, flip it around. I can navigate that bad boy. But I've had health challenges of my own. I'm a cancer survivor. I'll be hitting five years in July.
Okay.
5 years.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
5 years.
Which is huge.
Which is huge. Such a blessing.
To reach that 5-year survivorship. But when I was in my cancer journey, literacy is what saved my life. I got me a notebook and I put a strategy around it.
Okay.
I sure did.
No, that's so good.
I was like, let's do this. This is who I'm calling. These are the doctors I want. This is how my healthcare journey will go.
It's going to look.
Yeah.
And I, as your friend, of course, like, I love that testimony. And also, like, I would be very curious or almost even confident enough to say that because of that, you are 5 years in remission, right? Because you knew
No. Cancer-free.
Cancer-free.
I am not in remission. I am cancer-free.
Thank you for educating me. Yes. I did not know there is a difference. Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
And there is power in the tongue.
Yes.
She is not coming back.
Okay. No. And I touch and agree with that. Thank you for for changing that, because shoot, if I didn't know that, I'm sure there's other people who didn't know that as well.
Most people assume remission because we're familiar with that term.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cancer-free.
Yep.
Never coming back.
No.
But I do believe that part of, your knowledge was able to allow you to be on this journey successfully.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's really good. All right. Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to, and thank you for being vulnerable and comfortable enough to share that, because there is so much power in sharing that. Okay, so last question before I quick play rapid fire questions.
All right.
So when you think about your legacy, what would it look like for you on both sides of your work to actually say that you were successful, right? Like, what does legacy look like for you when somebody is, years down the road, or your grandchildren are talking about you, or whatever the case may be? Like, in both sides, if they're combined, like, what do you want to have been said about you that you did and left behind within your work?
She saved my life.
Ooh, I'm gonna cry right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is beautiful, Ray.
Yeah. If people can say I learned something and it saved my life, that's my legacy right there.
Oh my God, that is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I have glasses on because I'm really tearing up. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful legacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mic drop. I have nothing else to follow up on that.
Okay.
Oh, wow. All right. Next part of the thank you. Next part. Okay. So this is our quick play segment.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your mind, no explanations needed. Just give us the first thing that pops up. All right. Okay. One word that describes your leadership style.
One word. Oh man. There's so many words in my head.
Just one. First thing that comes.
Supportive.
Okay. Biggest myth about healthcare people still believe.
Doctors are dangerous.
Oh. Okay, that's a good one. One habit that keeps you grounded.
Nightly yoga.
Okay. Last question. What's something people should stop doing when it comes to their health?
Listening to people on TikTok who have no credentials.
Okay. Yes, that's a great one. Get all your info from Black Health Lit or credible sources, is what she said.
We always cite the source, too.
Yes,
it's
good.
not made up. It is not off my dome.
I love that. That's so good. Okay, so every guest who comes onto the show has to leave our listeners and watchers with one challenge for the week. So if you had to challenge our listeners and watchers with a challenge for this week, something practical that they can do based off of your knowledge, based off of your expertise, based off of the discussion, what would you challenge them with this week?
Brag on your friends. Hype your friends' businesses up. Share their businesses in the rooms that you're in. With your friends, your family, your acquaintances. When you walk in the room, take your friends and a family and acquaintances with you.
Yep. No, that's good. Exactly why I have all my friends on the show. So before we close out, tell the people where they can follow you, find you, all the things.
Yeah, the easiest funnel is at Rachel, RACHEL, Ray, RAE, Inspires.
Okay.
On Instagram.
Okay, okay.
If you go there, it will funnel you to Raette Consulting, Black Health Lit. My link tree is there. That's the easiest way to find me.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ray. This has been a beautiful conversation. I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing all the stories and busting myths and giving the inside knowledge of healthcare and telling us to encourage our friends and be okay to pivot and all the things. I just pray that God continues to bless you and flourish all the great things so you will have that legacy left behind you that say you saved a life.
I sure hope so. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, I did not mean to cry, but that happened on that episode. Ray just really took us there, and it was such an amazing conversation. Throughout this conversation, Rachel reminded us that real impact doesn't happen in systems. It happens when people understand how to move within them. It's not enough to build structures. We have to build clarity, access, and connection. So to everyone listening and watching, don't just exist within systems, learn them, navigate them, and when you can, help make them better for someone else. Thanks again for tuning into another episode of the NxtUp Ballers podcast, where our guests are built on wisdom, driven on action, and leaving a legacy behind them. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast, and you can also watch us on YouTube. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next episode, but until then, go ball out.